Why FIFA is secretly praying for Messi versus Ronaldo in 2026 is not just a dramatic headline, but a reflection of a reality that has shaped modern football for nearly 2 decades, because when you talk about Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, you are not talking about ordinary players. You are talking about the two most powerful sporting brands. The game has ever seen two careers that have rewritten records, redefined excellence, and carried football into the digital age. And as the 2026 FIFA World Cup approaches on the unprecedented stage of the United States, Canada, and Mexico, FIFA finds itself standing at a historic crossroads where global attention, commercial growth, legacy preservation, and emotional storytelling all converge into one dream scenario. One final definitive World Cup showdown between Messi and Ronaldo, a clash that would not just dominate headlines but potentially become the most watched sporting event in human history. Because for FIFA, this rivalry has been the single most reliable engine of engagement since the late 2000s, fueling television ratings, social media virality, sponsorship deals, and youth interest across continents. And while FIFA as an institution would never openly admit favoritism or desire for a specific matchup, the data tells a different story. Because every time Messi and Ronaldo share the same competition, search trends spike, broadcast figures explode, and casual fans who normally ignore qualifiers or group stage matches suddenly tune in. And in 2026, with an expanded 48-team format and a record number of matches, FIFA needs narratives that cut through the noise, and no narrative in football history is stronger, more universally recognizable, are more emotionally charged than Messi versus Ronaldo, a rivalry built not on scandal or hatred, but on relentless excellence, contrasting styles and the human obsession with comparison, where Messi represents natural genius artistry and quiet leadership, while Ronaldo symbolizes physical perfection, discipline, and unbreakable ambition. And FIFA understands that this contrast has transcended club football and become a cultural phenomenon that even non-football fans recognize, making it marketing gold in a tournament hosted across massive commercial markets, where entertainment value is as important as sporting purity, especially in the United States, where star power drives engagement. And for FIFA, the idea of Messi and Ronaldo meeting in 2026 is not just about nostalgia, but about securing a bridge between football's past dominance and its future expansion, because both players are approaching the twilight of their careers, and this World Cup could realistically be their final appearance on the global stage, transforming any potential meeting into a once-in-a-lifetime event, a last dance narrative that resonates deeply with fans who grew up watching them dominate La Liga, Champions League nights, and Ballon d'Or ceremonies. And FIFA knows that legacy-driven storytelling is incredibly powerful, because sports fans are not just consumers of matches. They are emotionally invested witnesses to history, and the chance to see Messi and Ronaldo face off one final time, possibly with a trophy on the line, would encapsulate an entire era of football in a single moment, something FIFA could never replicate again. And from a commercial perspective, the incentives are enormous, because sponsors, broadcasters, and advertisers crave certainty, and Messi versus Ronaldo is the closest thing football has to guaranteed global attention, with billions of combined followers across social platforms, meaning every clip, every goal, every reaction would circulate instantly worldwide, providing FIFA with unprecedented organic reach that no marketing campaign could ever buy. And this is particularly crucial for the 2026 World Cup, which is already historic due to its scale, its geography, and its new format, but also carries risks, because more matches and more teams could dilute attention, and FIFA needs a central storyline to anchor the tournament, a gravitational force that pulls casual viewers into the competition. And Messi versus Ronaldo serves that purpose perfectly, acting as a narrative spine around which all other stories can orbit. And beyond the business side, there is also the matter of legitimacy and symbolism, because FIFA has often been criticized for controversial decisions, governance issues, and a perceived disconnect from fans. And delivering a World Cup defined by football's greatest rivalry could help reframe the organization's image, reminding the world why the tournament matters, emotionally and culturally, not just politically or financially. And the timing could not be more dramatic, because by 2026, Messi will be nearing his late 30s and Ronaldo into his early 40s, defying the normal lifespan of elite athletes. and any performance they deliver would be seen as heroic every sprint. Every goal, every pass layered with the weight of time. And FIFA understands that audiences are drawn to stories of defiance against aging and inevitability, and this matchup would embody that theme perfectly. Two legends refusing to fade quietly, still chasing glory on the biggest stage. And there is also the geopolitical and global fan base angle. Because Messi represents Argentina and South America, while Ronaldo represents Portugal and Europe, and their clash becomes a symbolic meeting of footballing cultures, philosophies, and histories, something that resonates deeply in a World Cup designed to celebrate global unity, and FIFA, which often positions the tournament as a unifying force, could not ask for a better embodiment of that message. And when you consider the practical tournament structure, the expanded format actually increases the chances of such a meeting without overt manipulation, because more knockout rounds and cross-group pathways create natural opportunities for heavyweights to collide later in the tournament, allowing FIFA to benefit from the possibility while maintaining plausible deniability. And from a media perspective, journalists, pundits, and content creators would amplify the narrative endlessly, providing FIFA with free promotion across every platform, from traditional television to TikTok, highlights, podcasts, and live reaction streams, turning the entire World Cup into a sustained global conversation centered around one question: will Messi and Ronaldo meet one last time? And if they do, who will win? And this uncertainty is crucial because it keeps audiences emotionally invested from the opening match to the final whistle. And FIFA is acutely aware that uncertainty drives engagement more effectively than certainty, and the rivalry itself is perfectly balanced for drama. Because despite endless debates, there is no universally accepted winner, with Messi often praised for his playmaking genius in World Cup triumph, while Ronaldo is celebrated for his Champions League dominance, physical longevity, and clutch moments. And this lack of closure is exactly why the rivalry still captivates fans, because humans crave resolution, and the 2026 World Cup could offer a symbolic conclusion, even if it never truly ends the debate. And beyond the stars themselves, a Messi versus Ronaldo clash would elevate their teammates, turning ordinary players into supporting characters in an epic narrative, increasing visibility for smaller footballing nations and younger stars who share the pitch with legends, something FIFA values as it looks to promote the next generation of icons. And this transition is critical, because football's future depends on new heroes emerging, and what better stage for that than alongside the two greatest players of the modern era. And there is also a cultural memory aspect, because World Cups are remembered not just for winners but for moments, like Maradona's hand of God, Zidane's headbutt, a Ronaldo Nazario's redemption. And FIFA understands that a Messi versus Ronaldo meeting would instantly become one of those immortal moments, etched into football folklore regardless of the result, ensuring that the 2026 World Cup is remembered for decades. And this long-term legacy matters deeply to FIFA, which competes with other global sporting events for relevance in an increasingly fragmented entertainment landscape. And while some purists argue that football should be about teams, tactics, and collective effort, FIFA knows that star power has always driven the sport's global expansion, from Pelé to Maradona to Zidane. And Messi and Ronaldo are the culmination of that lineage, the most globally recognizable footballers ever. And their meeting would symbolize the passing of a torch from one era to the next, and even criticism and controversy would serve FIFA's interests. Because debate fuels attention, and attention fuels relevance, and whether fans cheer, argue, or complain, they are still watching, still engaging, still emotionally invested. And that is the ultimate currency in modern sports. And when you add the North American context, where sports entertainment thrives on storylines, rivalries, and superstar narratives, the appeal becomes even stronger. Because a Messi versus Ronaldo clash would break through mainstream media in ways football rarely does, in that market appearing on talk shows, news broadcasts, and trending lists far beyond traditional sports circles, helping FIFA achieve one of its long-term goals, deepening football's cultural footprint in North America. And all of this explains why, behind closed doors, within strategy meetings and broadcast negotiations, FIFA is quietly hoping that the stars align, that Argentina and Portugal progress through the tournament in such a way that destiny can do the rest. Because even the possibility of Messi versus Ronaldo is enough to elevate anticipation to unprecedented levels. And if it actually happens, the payoff would be monumental, delivering not just record-breaking viewership, but a defining chapter in football history, one that validates the last 2 decades of obsession, debate, and devotion, and ultimately reminds the world why football, at its best, is not just a sport but a shared human story, and that is why FIFA, whether it admits it or not, is secretly praying for Messi versus Ronaldo in 2026, because it represents the perfect storm of legacy, commerce, emotion, and global unity, a final gift from 2 legends who transformed the game forever. And as that story continues beyond the immediate spectacle, FIFA's quiet hope for a Messi versus Ronaldo clash in 2026 also extends into the deeper economics of modern football, because the World Cup is no longer just a tournament, but a massive ecosystem that includes broadcasters, streaming platforms, sponsors, digital creators, gaming companies, and even betting markets, all of which thrive on predictability of interest. And Messi and Ronaldo provide that certainty in a way no other players can, because their names alone function as global triggers that activate attention across age groups, cultures, and levels of football knowledge, meaning that a single match featuring both of them would ripple across every layer of the football economy, from record-breaking television ratings in Europe and South America to unprecedented streaming numbers in Asia and Africa, and massive merchandise sales in North America. Their Messi's presence in MLS has already begun to normalize football stardom within mainstream sports culture, and Ronaldo's global brand continues to dominate digital engagement metrics regardless of league or age. And FIFA understands that the 2026 World Cup is uniquely positioned to capitalize on this, because it will be the first World Cup fully embedded in the era of short-form content, AI-driven highlights, real-time global reactions, and algorithm-powered distribution, where moments are not just watched but endlessly clipped, remixed, analyzed, and argued over. And a Messi versus Ronaldo moment would not be a single 90-minute event, but a months-long content cycle that begins before the tournament, speaks during the match, and continues long after the final whistle, effectively extending the World Cup's relevance far beyond its official duration. And this matters immensely to FIFA because the organization competes for attention not just with other sports, but with the entire entertainment industry, including movies, streaming series, esports, and social media trends. And only a rivalry of this magnitude can cut through that noise on a truly global scale. And beyond money and media, there is also the psychological dimension of fandom that FIFA is acutely aware of, because Messi and Ronaldo fans are not passive viewers but deeply invested communities that defend debate and emotionally attach their own identities to these players. And when those communities are activated simultaneously by the possibility of a direct clash, engagement reaches levels that no neutral matchup could ever achieve, turning the World Cup into a living, breathing conversation that dominates timelines, group chats, and public discourse across continents. And this communal obsession feeds directly into FIFA's long-term goal of keeping football culturally dominant in an age where attention is increasingly fragmented. And there is also an intergenerational element at play, because Messi and Ronaldo represent a shared reference point for multiple age groups, from older fans who witnessed their early Champions League battles to younger fans who consume their highlights through YouTube shorts and video games. And the 2026 showdown would serve as a unifying moment where different generations experience the same event together, reinforcing football's role as a shared cultural language, something FIFA deeply values as it seeks to future-proof the sport. And when you examine FIFA's strategic messaging around legacy, inclusion, and global growth, it becomes clear that a Messi versus Ronaldo match aligns perfectly with those themes, because it would showcase football's ability to produce enduring icons whose influence transcends borders, languages, and politics. And this symbolism is particularly powerful in a World Cup hosted across 3 countries, marketed as a celebration of unity and diversity. And there is also the narrative symmetry that makes this potential clash so irresistible, because Messi's World Cup triumph in 2022 is often seen as the moment that completed his story, while Ronaldo's international legacy remains defined by near misses and heroic individual performances rather than ultimate World Cup glory. And a meeting in 2026 would reopen that storyline in a way that feels almost scripted, offering Ronaldo a final, chance at redemption, and Messi an opportunity to further cement his legend. And FIFA knows that audiences are drawn to stories of unfinished business because they mirror the human desire for closure. And even if neither player wins the tournament, the act of facing each other again would feel like a meaningful conclusion to an era. And from a sporting perspective, the matchup would also provide a fascinating contrast in how football has evolved, because Messi and Ronaldo have adapted their games over time, shifting from explosive young stars to experienced leaders who influence matches through intelligence, positioning, and moments of brilliance rather than constant physical dominance. And FIFA understands that this evolution reflects the broader trajectory of modern football, where experience and tactical awareness increasingly complement athleticism, making the matchup not just a nostalgic throwback but a showcase of how greatness endures. And there is also the human element that FIFA quietly recognizes, because despite the media-driven rivalry, Messi and Ronaldo share a mutual respect forged through years of competition and a final World Cup meeting would likely be marked by gestures of sportsmanship that resonate deeply with fans, reinforcing football's values of respect and excellence.